ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, the 4th chapter, and we have studied up to shloka number 35. Now, as I've told you, from shloka number 24, where an omnibus attitude of how to convert our flow of life, an omnibus, all-inclusive, nothing exclusive way of life, where we can change the flow of life into an unending worship. But the words, the examples and directions have been given in a manner which was very, very popular and commonly known in that time society when the Gita was enunciated. That is why the concept of yajna has been described in many ways up to shloka number 33. And I have tried my best to instill in you what is the main theme. Today, please bear with me. I'm going to repeat the same ideas once in a while for such friends who are new to these talks. Now, there are two words, work and worship, in English. Karma and puja in Sanskrit and in other languages. Again, karma has been also used to express yajna, sacrificial offer, sacrificing to the fire of all that you have earned and etc., all the faculties you have within you, all that you earn by the sweat of brow, you offer to God, so that awareness of presence of God is always with you. And that has been said in an all-inclusive, non-exclusive manner in the shloka 24, Brahmarpanam Brahmavi Brahmagno Brahmanautam. Everything that you see or do is nothing but Brahma. That is an all-inclusive statement. Then it has been segmented in different aspects, pranayama and etc. And finally, what for? Who will guide me? Where does it take it to me? You, Sri Krishna dear, Reverend Krishna dear, you have been telling us this is to be done, this is to be done, this is to be done, this is to be done. I understand, but I want a teacher who has gone through this drill, who has gone through this game, and who is authorized to teach me. What is the authority? Where is the authority from? The authority is from his own experience. The pitfalls and etc., that is on the way. He has walked the way, he has seen it, he has known it, and that is why he has the authority in it to teach us. That is how it ends. Now, dear, what is this concept of yajna, karma, yoga? What is this concept? It's very, very simple, and we should be highly and extremely obliged, as it were, to the Divine Trinity here, especially Swami Vivekananda, mouthpiece of Sri Ramakrishna, who has made the concept of this absolute subject of yajna, karma yoga, jnana yajna, tapo yajna, dravya yajna, and so on and so forth. We should be extremely, I would say, grateful to him. Now, what does he say? In a modern language, the ideas which surround us, and with that modern language, let us try to understand the spirit of the shloka number 24 to shloka number 33, various aspects of yajna, performance. Now, what is life? Life is an unending flow of activity. When the medical person says there is no activity in your human body, the brain is not active, the heart is not active, the lungs are no more active, the organs have failed, you are clinically dead. Lack of activity and lack of life is the same. So life and activity are synonymous. So as long as I am a living entity, I have to undergo some action. And when that action is analyzed, we find we are generally involved in 4 different manners. I am physically involved. I'm talking to you and gesturing and posturing. That is physical involvement. I am emotionally involved in this. Why? My feeling, my sense of sympathy, empathy, sharing, caring, standing by you, helping you with the little knowledge that I have, is an emotional activity. Rationally, I have to choose my words very carefully. I have to put it in such a manner that it is readily, easily understandable to you. And behind all this, I am involved. I am talking, I am speaking. And this I is motivated with certain noble, idealistic ideas. This is what work is. This is what flow of life is. The shape and the size and the time changes, but the involvement of physical, emotional, rational and egoistic is the highest common factor. It remains. And we call it work, we call it activity, we call it yajna, we call it karma. Now, what is puja and what is worship? Work and worship, karma and puja. What is the distinction? Why 2 different words? And why they are so different? And how is it I should know what the actual difference is? We are so phonetically used to the word karma, yajna, puja, upasana. All these words are so common to me phonetically, sound-wise. I've heard 1,000,000 times. By hearing 1,000,000 times, I have a misconception. I know what it means. But when I ask you in particular detail, please explain to me what is karma and what is puja. Puja is puja. That's what we will say. Let us analyze it for ourselves for a clearer understanding. Karma involves 5 faculties, 5 activities. 4 activities: physical, emotional, rational, and egoistic. Involvement of I am doing. I am the doer. Karta aham asmi. I am the performer. I am the doer. There it ends. Karma. What is puja? You come to a shrine. And what do you do there? First, physically, you bow down. Then you folded hands, you look at the image on the picture, and while you look at it, you tell yourself, this picture is a symbol, symbolizes something else. This picture is God's picture. I am being reminded of God by this picture. Physically, you stand with folded hands, you look at the picture, and your rationality tells you this picture is a symbol of something whom we know as God, Parameshwara, Lord God of the universe. And I have come to Him to beg of Him. Name, fame, wealth, standing, whatever it may be, bhakti, mukti, I have come to ask of Him. You are establishing an emotional and a rational involvement of what you know as God, rationalizing it through the symbol. And you are the person who is doing it. So, karma is there. It is also karma here. I am physically involved. I am emotionally involved. I am rationally involved. I am egoistically involved. So the highest common interest is, the highest common factor is, I am involved. Now the question is, I'll ask you, where are you involved? In what are you involved? I'll ask you. I'm not sure. Let me make it clear to you. When you are active in the world, you're involved with the world, and your expectation from the world is your motivation. I do this, I will get this. I will do this, I will get this. This is your motivation, expectation from the world. Here, right from the beginning, you are aware of the presence of the divine, and you expect from the divine. There's no two opinion about it. I'm sorry. You expect from the divine as you expect from the world. So everything is common. The only differentiating factor is awareness of presence of the divine. So work converts itself into worship when we put in the idea of awareness of presence of God every moment of our life. Our flow of life is converted from work into worship. This is the concept of karma yoga, simplified, easily understandable by the meanest intellect. Thanks to Swami Vivekananda, Sridharananda. In the Gita, the concept of karma yoga is there. In the Bhagavatam, the concept of Karma Yoga there. In many other scriptures, the concept of Karma Yoga there. But such an analysis, how by my own thinking, I can convert karma into Karma Yoga. Karma into an endless worship. Work converted into worship. How? By attitudinal correction. Correcting your attitude. I am told God is everywhere. There is not a speck of space. There is not an iota of time who is absolutely immutable, unchangeable, absolute. If He is there, then why can't I educate myself to be aware of His presence everywhere? So my mundane work can be converted into worship, provided I bring in the factor known as awareness of presence of God in my life. The main theme of these few shlokas is this. Sri Krishna is hammering away that each and every activity, however psychical, physical, emotional, rational it may be, it is to be converted into awareness of presence of God and perform it as an offering to Him. Thereby, you are being asked to correct, to be thorough, to be perfect, to be excellent in your performance. So, this is the main theme. Having read the theme, I am a serious student. I want to build up my spiritual life, my spiritual character, so that one day I become one with my God. This is the goal of my life. So I have understood what is work, what is worship, how work can be converted into worship. I have understood all that. But isn't it better for me to find out a person who has done so, who has walked this walk, who has performed this performance successfully? He can hold me by my hand, He can help me with His wisdom, with His guidance, and make my life easier, avoiding all pitfalls that He had seen and gone through. So I am interested in looking out for such a person. That is how the requirement of the 34th shloka is paramount. Tat vidhi. Vidhi has a special meaning. First, you intellectually, rationally understand. And then you experience it. Understanding is rational, jnana, and swanubhava karanam. Swa-anubhava karanam. To experience it within yourself is vijnanam, vidhi. Tad vidhi. To reach that goal, not only intellectually or rationally, but to reach that goal by experiencing it. Swa-anubhava karanam. Self-experiencing all these ideas. What is that experiencing? I must identify myself with my true original nature. What I know I am is a mistaken identity, is an error of judgment. I must rectify that. And that error, that mistaken identity, has such a hold on me. It takes a prolonged back-breaking effort to reach that goal. Therefore, tat viddhi, to know that first, that is, know the procedure first, then to know the way of performance second, and third is back-breaking performance. To do it. To achieve all that, ajnanina tartadarshina avigachet. Brahmagyam atmagyam gurumeva avigachet. Tad vijnanartham. To know that, to experience that, to reach that, to identify myself with my true original nature, you have to go to a teacher. And who is a qualified teacher? Not a pandit, not an intellectual giant, but a person who has experienced it himself, who is in possession of the Swa Anubhava Karanam Vritti. He is the person. To know that, you have to reach a person. Now, how do we reach in the modern age? Hi, I want to know this. Could you tell me? I'm in a hurry. Tell me on phone. That's not this method. The spiritual life is laid on a totally separated discipline. And that is the biggest problem of the modern youth. They are not prepared to understand or to appreciate the age-old method, which is a man-making, character-building procedure. So what have to do? We have to do the senior monk. A monk who has a person who has realized what he is talking about. Having realized, his realization authorizes his speaking. So there is a thunderbolt of strength in what a realized soul says. Why? Because he has seen the reality within himself. Now, how do you approach him? Now, this is a scriptural stricture. It is a scriptural scripture. It is mandatory. It cannot be changed. If you change, you do so at your own peril. You will not reach the goal. So, let me put it in modern language. Then I will put it in you. Now, modern day, the teacher says, keep quiet. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me attentively. What does it mean? Your total mind is now absolutely assimilative, receptive, and you are open. Whatever he says, you hold it and keep it. And then transform it into a performance. This attitude is based on, according to English words, modesty, humility, assimilativeness, absorption. You receive, you hold, and you absorb. You saturate yourself with that idea. That is symbolized by the word pranipata. Pranipata, prakrishta rupena nipata. What is that special form? You lie flat on the floor, absolutely along with the mud and earth, and at the level of the feet of the Guru standing in front of you. pranipata. And then, while living with him, without bothering him, without disturbing him, without imposing yourself on him, at an appropriate moment, you ask him a question which is relevant to this life. Don't ask him irrelevant questions. Pariprashna. Prashna is questioning. Pariprashna is those questions which will fulfill your desire of understanding, and after understanding, it will motivate you to doing or performing. Pranipata, pariprashna, and sevaya. And serve him in such a manner that you totally win him over by your attitudinal correction vis-a-vis your relation between you and your master. To know that, to experience that reality, tad vidhi, you have to approach your teacher, pranipata, pariprashna, and sevaya. Who is that person? Jnanina tattvadarshina. He must be jnani as well as tattvadarshi. That is, he must have the capacity to explain to you what it is all about. He has first rationally, intellectually convinced himself in a rock-solid manner, in a crystal clear manner. Then he has motivated to achieve that conviction, and that conviction becomes a part and parcel of his being. And he says, I am Atma Brahma. This Atman, Jivatma, is a mistaken identity. It has broken all its boundaries, broken all its limitations, and it is one with the Absolute. To reach that goal, you have to find out such a person who is Jnani, who is Tattvadarshi, and in plural. Plural means there are many people in the world, only you must have eyes and ears and understanding to choose one, not to be misguided or by misled. And he, such a person, Jnani Tattvadarshi person, if he finds such a student, if he finds such a teacher, he must advise him or hold him by his hand and take him across. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti tad jnanam. Who? Tattvadarshi jnani purusha upadekshanti. He must. He has no freedom. He has to hand over wisdom from generation to generation. That is why even today, I do not know how many thousands of years later, the concept of Jivana Mukti is still alive in humans, and still humans reach it. So, dears, I cannot but keep on insisting on you. Please remember this shloka and all that has been mentioned from 24 to 33. Now, say for instance, I find such a person. Say for instance, I fulfill all the preconditions of pranipata, pariprashna and seva. Well, when he leads me there, what happens to me? As Sri Ramakrishna used to say in an ironic, satiric manner, when you reach your goal, when you see God, do you grow two horns on your head and a long tail in a human form, that you are a special creature? You have seen God. Does something like that happen? Arjuna wants to know, what will happen to me if I fulfill all these conditions and if I find out a person who will teach me? He has already found out his cousin brother. Now the cousin brother in the 4th chapter is explaining to him who his cousin brother in reality is. Avatar. That's what he says in the beginning of the chapter. So let us see what the 35th chapter, the shloka says. Jaj gyatva na punaramoha evam jasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshani drakshasi atmani atho mai. Let us break it up into 4 quarters, because the last shloka is very intricate. We may take some time to discuss it over and over and over again. It describes the stages and process of growing spiritual. And what is the ultimate spiritual goal in human life? This is the essential teaching of these ideas. Jaj gyatva. Sri Krishna immediately reads Arjuna's mind and he knows what Arjuna is wanting to know. So he answers it before Arjuna can speak it out. As soon as it comes into his mind, Arjuna's mind, what will happen to me when I know this? What will happen to me? As soon as this dawns into Arjuna's mind, Sri Krishna is aware of it, reads it, and gives him an answer. Now see what the answer is. Tad vidhi, knowing and experiencing which, what will happen to me? The process of knowing and experience has been mentioned. Now I want to know what is the end result of it. What happens to me? Do I grow 2 horns and a long tail in a human body? Jaj gyatva punar moha evam na jasyasi he Pandava. He Panduputra, the lineage, the heritage of the family, he is reminding him, don't fail the heritage of the family. You Bharat Kulodbhava, you are from the family of Maharaja. Bharata, the founder of Bharatvarsha. You belong to that family and you are Pandu's son and you know what Pandu is. So, he says, Hey Panduputra Pandava, Arjuna, Jaj Gyatva. Though he here uses the Gyatva, but it is Vijnana. Rationally and experience-wise. Transformation of your personality, Jivatma, merges in Paramatma. When that happens to you, Arjuna, Punar Moha Evam Na Jasyasi. You will not be a victim of Moha anymore. Punaha, once again. Once for all, it is wiped out. Your vision is clear. Now there is I would say, a contrasting as an example, a similar example. But you know, examples are to be treated only according to the point of exemplification. You can't overstretch it. The example this: you have been told that you are born to this family, this is your name, this is your heritage, this is your lineage. Do you forget your name ever? Whenever I ask you, who are you? Kastamashi, who are you? Immediately you'll tell your name. Your passport identity, you have identified yourself to such an extent that even if you are deep asleep, if somebody calls you by name loudly, that sound wave through your ears will go and wake you up, and you will reply, who is calling me? That is the depth of identity. Now, that capacity to identify yourself with what you are today, that capacity has to be utilized to lift it up from Jivatma to place it onto Parama. I am Atma Brahma. And it is as easy as holding the river Ganga at its estuary and taking it back to Gomukh. As easy as that. Or we can say as impossible as that. It is a very, very, very big task. Now he says here, we have to be very precise. Punaha. Once you have identified yourself as you are today, you can't withdraw yourself easily. That identification has got a hold on you. Now what is happening, knowing which, experiencing which, all your limitations and bondages fall off. How does it fall off? In our worldly life, it is happening every time. I've given you an example, I'll repeat it again. What is that, dear? I'll make myself an example. I was born in a house in a suburb of Calcutta. Mark my words. I was born in a house, in a particular room, in a suburb of Calcutta. That was my identity, my house. This is our house, the family's house. Then, who are you? I'm a Calcasian. I was born in Calcutta. Then I grow, my education widens my vision. I'm a Bengali. I come from Bengal. Where is Bengal? Oh, I'm an Indian. Mark my words. From a room in a house in a suburban Calcutta, you have grown up to the identity, I am an Indian. I am Asian. And I am a member of the human society. Quadrillions of us. Have I not grown by breaking my small identity into one of the humans of the whole human race? I have done it. That is my worldly education. Spiritual education says, go a step forward. You are the spirit, you are Sat Sarup, Chit Sarup, Ananda Sarup, Atma or Brahma. Call it by any name. You have equated Atman and Brahman together. by your own experience. Spiritual progress is just the same. You continue to educate yourself, breaking your bondages, your attachments, your misconceptions, error of judgment, misunderstanding. Slowly and slowly get rid of it. As you have outgrown the limitations of your address of your birthplace, you now identify yourself a member of the human society. Go a step forward, identify yourself with your true spirit, your existence, the last jump. Why? The purpose of life is Jivana Mukti Sukha Prapti Hetave Janmadharanam. The purpose of being born a human, the most evolved of all biological creatures, is to enjoy the freedom of being Jivana Mukta. That is Jivita Eva Mukta San. You are in this life. You are a living entity. You have that name and everything. You live in this world, but you know your true original nature. So, Jaj Gyatva, Sri Krishna is now explaining to you, Punarmoham na jasasi. Now you have found out your true original nature. You'll never, never, never be dislodged from that experience. I am one with God. He is in me. I am with Him. He is everywhere. I am everywhere. You will never go back to that world which you created by your, let me be scriptural, by your ajnana, not knowing things in its true, real perspective. So this is the main theme of the first line. And next line expresses to you what will be the quantum of your experience. I will explain to you, please don't be afraid. Accidentally, you burn your finger. You know the fire is hot. You know the fire burns. You have heard. You have never experienced it. Accidentally, you burn the tip of your finger. That experience, it is an everlasting experience. So, the worldly experiences that you have through this body-mind complex leaves an indelible memory in you. It never goes. Similarly, dear, at the last stage of your life, or the borderline of Jivatma and Paramatma, a tightrope walk, you tilt over to Paramatma. And as soon as you experience oneness with the whole cosmos, you never come back again. You never forget. You don't call or repeating, reminding yourself, I am Atma, I am Atma, I am Atma, I am Atma. No. Once saturates you, removes your ignorance, and you are no more a victim of any Brahma, mistaken identity. This is what happens to you. Let us read the second line quickly. I've taken a lot of your time, but I'll come back to this second line in the next discourse. Let us read the second line. Jajgatva na punaramoham evam jasasi he Pandava. That's the first question. Having experienced which, backed by your intellectual conviction or emotional saturation, or both together in Karma Yoga, converting work into worship, life into an endless worship of the divine, whatever the means may be. Having achieved that experience and wisdom, you will not be in delusion, under influence of delusion and ignorance anymore. And what will be the quantum of your experience? Will it be vacuum? No, dear. It is positive, throbbing, living, vibrating. You are always enjoying that. What is that? Jena bhutani asheshani. Jena, by means of which, what? That experience. Asheshani bhutani. Endless manifestations of this diverse world. Drakshasi atmani. You will see them all as yourself. I'll give you a very good example, an incident, a fact of life in Swamiji's life. On his return to India after his Parliament of Religion and stay in USA and UK, he came back to India and it was organized right from Colombo to Almora. And by all that, he went on lecturing and lecturing and lecturing and passing his wisdom and experience to all and sundry without any choosing. He was invited in a college in Lahore, government college in Lahore. There, one Rama, Sri Rama, he was a professor. He had heard of Swamiji. He has read his lectures in the newspapers. He invited Swamiji to deliver a talk in Lahore Government College, organized by the college authorities. The main person behind was Sri Rama. Swamiji spoke about this oneness of soul. I forget the title of that talk, but the theme is oneness of the soul, oneness of the whole universe. After the talk, people were absolutely enchanted. In those days, a wristwatch was a very rare commodity. Very rare commodity. Sri Ram had one. Professor Ram had one. She offered that watch as a sense of respect to Swamiji and put it behind. Swamiji said, Ram, wear that on your wrist. What could he do? He wore it. And then in a stentorian voice, Swamiji said, Ram, don't get disappointed. I will wear this watch on that wrist. A classic statement. I will wear that watch on that wrist. Ekatma bodh, oneness of the soul. Now, what to speak of scriptures? Here is right in front of you. Jena asheshani bhutani, including your dear and near ones. Ashesha, limitless, incountable, innumerable, endless, Bhutani manifestation, diversity in totality. Drakshasi, you will experience in yourself. Drakshasi Atmani. The whole cosmos is in you and you are with the whole cosmos. After that, Atho Mai. Mai is first person singular. In me. Krishna says, in me. That is the consolidation, the solidification of concept of your Ishtadev, Avatara, or God is so solidified that wherever your eyes fall, you see that form. No more absolute presence, no more absolute isness. Isness has converted into a form. And I gave you an incident, let me re-quote it again. Sri Ramakrishna, whenever he left Dakshineshwar, he went to Kali temple to take leave of his mother, permission from his mother. Bhavatarini Kali, a stone image for you and me. But he was living, throbbing mother for Sri Ramakrishna. Good enough. He was a bit late. He told M. Mashai, the author of Gospel, ask the coachman to get the shortest route so that we can make up on our delay. The shortest route was through a red light area where prostitutes live. Fallen women live together. It's a locality separated from general. It was evening time. Each and every lady, all dressed up, standing at the doorstep to offer themselves to their clients. M was feeling embarrassed and uneasy. He was almost going to rebuke the coachman why he brought him through this area. But he has told the shortest route. Sri Ramakrishna stopped him. Like a child, he looked out of the coach box, the window, in the old hackney carriages. And he saw ladies beautifully dressed in different manner, in different styles, standing one after the other, house after house after. And with great joy, like a child, oh mother, what a pleasure. I left you there in Dakshineshwar and you to give me the joy of seeing you in different forms. You have dressed yourself like this and I'm seeing you. Dhanna ho, dhanna. Glory to thee, glory to thee. And he kept on doing pranams to everybody. By the time the coach went. Atho mai. Now, when we say the advent of Sri Ramakrishna is to place concrete, solid, demonstrative evidence of the absolute, abstract dictates of the scriptures. Here is one of them. Atho mai. Drakshasi Atmani. The first step is Sarvani Asheshani Bhutani Atmani Drakshasi Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And then, because of the emotional aspect of my being, that Nirvikalpa Vastu becomes Savikalpa Saguna Ishvara Paramash by my bhakti. Nirvikalpa Brahma Bhakti hi mein jo mein Shagun Brahma han. This is an extract from Kathamrita. What is it? The emotional intensity of that person, that he is not interested in that absolute. He would like to enjoy the concreteness of that absolute in a divine form. So because of his devotion, and water freezes into an ice. Here the example is Nirguna Brahma is water. The capacity to freeze is your bhakti, and you freeze it into a form that is ice cubicles. It is a form, it is solid, it is concrete. So here in the last shloka, Sri Krishna is suggestively explaining what will happen to you when you experience that. I could not contain myself. I completed this shloka, but if you permit me, I'll repeat this last shloka again next time and then go ahead. We have only 5, 6 or 7 shlokas left of this chapter, and the rest will be easy. Arthavada and all that. Thank you, dear. Thank you ever so much.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna